So at the time of me watching this video, Roe versus Wade was not in danger of being deemed obsolete. As of a few days ago, the Supreme Court has leaked a vote stating that they are trying to overturn Roe versus Wade, stating that it is a dangerous precedent and is fundamentally wrong. I will link the article in the description. Enjoy. I am super late, so I wouldn't. All right. This video is about abortions. I know it's a fucked topic, but we're talking about it because I want to. I don't know why. I have strong opinions on it. I don't know what this video is about. I mean, is abortion murder is the name of the video. I have not watched this video. I have not watched the video. I'm going to say that women should have autonomy over their body. I think it's ridiculous what some of the political parties, political figures are pushing for. Like in Texas, they are trying to get women. They're trying to put the death penalty on women that have abortions. That's one of the things that they're trying to sign into effect. Well, see, it's legal on a federal level, but then they have, they're trying to make it illegal on a state level. And there's like loopholes for them to do that. It's pretty fucked up, but let's just watch. Let's watch.
If you agree, step forward. If you disagree, stay put. Nobody likes abortions.
These people are fucking crazy.
I don't think anyone likes it. I think they use it, and they might use it incorrectly from my perspective. But I don't think anyone likes an abortion. Like, they're not like jumping for joy for it.
I already disagree because I think people really like abortions and they actually love abortions when it comes to the fact of having a child that you don't want to have. And that alone, I would say, yes, people do like abortions. They help people tremendously that are not in a situation to have a kid. So and he's probably going to say something. I guarantee these people are religious. Almost guarantee that the girl on the left is going to say something about religion. I don't know why.
I think it is a very physically taxing process to go through, and I don't think anyone would want to intentionally have an abortion. I think those who get an abortion, most of the time, it's because they need to.
It's a harmful narrative on both sides of the conversation to say that, women celebrate abortion. I think it creates a prejudice around women who do get abortions. And I don't think that it's good to kind of minimize the decision of abortion from either side, from either perspective. So,
in the disagree or step.
She said that so fast, I couldn't understand what she was saying. Like, I don't know, something about, we gotta run that back. Something about the way she was saying it, I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what she just said.
Most of the time, it's because they need to.
It's a harmful narrative on both sides of the conversation to say that, women celebrate abortion. I think it creates a prejudice around women who do get abortions. And I don't think that it's good to kind of minimize the decision of abortion from either side, from either perspective. So,
What did she say?
In the disagree or
I
step
don't know.
forward.
I think if you asked me this question maybe several years ago, I would have said nobody likes abortion. But I think in today's climate, it is much more celebrated. As a pro-life person, I've had people tell me that they will dedicate their next abortion to me. Instead of helping women, they will have an abortion.
I've heard very similar responses to you. Things like, I'll donate to Planned.
It's crazy to see women be anti-abortion. Does that make sense? Like, I don't understand how, as a woman, you would be appealed by the idea of not having, like, control over your body. It just, if I'm trying to look at it from, like, a guy's point of view, like, I guess there's really, okay, so, men can have their sacks cut so they can't have kids. Let's put it in a new world where it's like, that is a debatable topic. Men should not be allowed to cut their balls that way that they can never have, that way they can't, like, just cut off the baby supply. If, as a man, advocating for that doesn't make sense. If men don't want to have babies and they want to get their balls cut, do it, because it's your body, your right. Same thing with tattoos. Tattoos can go both ways, but for somebody to tell you that you can't do something to your body doesn't make sense. So to see women on the side of anti-abortion, it just really, I don't know what is in their head to make them think that way, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I guess we'll find out here shortly. Like, what are they thinking?
Planned Parenthood in your name, and there's other pages like Shout Your Abortion that openly.
Shout Your Abortion is a social media campaign where people share their abortion experiences online without sadness, shame, or regret. Interesting, I didn't know that.
Celebrates abortion rights.
Yeah, I celebrate abortion, and I think that campaigns like Shout Your Abortion aren't about like getting in your face, but women who choose to have abortions suffer a lot of stigma and trauma from people who stand outside clinics and have grotesque images and literally, damning your soul. Abortion as a medical procedure and resource is something that I do celebrate.
Agree.
It's a human right.
Agree.
And I love abortion.
I do too. I think it's great.
My name is Rocky. I use she, her pronouns. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I am very pro-abortion. I think that legislation like SB 8 opens the door, and the
SB 8 took effect on September 1st, 2021. It is the first time a state has successfully imposed a six-week abortion ban since Roe v. Wade. By the way, Roe v. Wade was a really big case in America where they basically made abortion legal across the board. Roe v. Wade, you'll hear that a lot in abortion sentiment, and it took place a while back. I'm forgetting the exact date, but so in September 1st, they imposed a 6-week abortion ban, which means if you have a fetus past 6 weeks, you're not allowed to have an abortion. At the first abortion restriction to rely on enforcement by private individuals through civil lawsuits.
Path towards handing over our bodily autonomy to the state. I don't understand how anyone can justify using their personal beliefs to take away the rights of others.
My name's Abby. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I'm an abolitionist of human abortion. We have to ask the question of what makes humans valuable. So because my worldview as a Christian gives me a foundation for human worth.
There it is. There it is. You love it. Love to hear it.
And because I believe scientifically fetuses are human beings from the moment of conception.
Scientifically, you are fucking incorrect. Literally, I love that. Scientifically, she says. Scientifically, you know nothing because science has proven you wrong on that one. Time and time again. That's why it's insane to have a 6-week, if you're carrying past 6 weeks, it's insane to pass a law where you cannot have an abortion, because even after 6 weeks of being pregnant, what is inside you still is basically nothing. It's just cells being formed still. It's not a human being at that time.
I am against abortion.
Biological fathers should have...
it's there's nothing better than hearing someone say scientifically and then spout the most demonstrous lie you've ever heard in your life. Not only that, but she said, what she said, she is a Christian and science in the same fucking sentence. Like, how far gone can you be? How are you going to be like, well, science says this, but I'm also a Christian? Like, how are you going to believe in both? Because it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense. Science has disproven. We won't go into the religion thing, but it's just funny. It's funny that for her to say, I believe in science, but also in the same sentence say, well, I'm a Christian and it's my Christian values, but science says this. And she's wrong.
In abortions.
Wait, what?
Biological fathers should have an equal say in abortions.
I think that men should have the right to know, but I think in the end, it's still the women's choice, the woman's choice. I think with men, I do feel like they should have a say in it, but I think it still always falls on the woman's shoulder to make the decision, because of course I feel like the man may be able to persuade the woman if the woman wanted to talk to the man about it, but even if she didn't, I think she'd still be in the right, because it's her body, her choice. She should be able to have an abortion without talking to the man if she really wants to. But I think if it's a loving relationship, I think the woman would say something to the man, but who knows? Doesn't matter at the end of the day. Oh, I'm a mass murderer, Danny.
Well, I think so. I mean, it's consistency. Like, if we're defining that as a life, if it is a life, to put a kid up for adoption, both parents have to agree.
I agree. I have talked to lots of women who've had abortions, and I've talked to lots of men who are hurting. They're completely heartbroken. They would have raised the baby. They wanted to raise the baby. They begged for the life of the baby, and they obviously created the baby together.
I love how that guy, he's like, oh man, he's like really, you could like see the numbers going in his head. He's like, oh man, I don't know.
But only one of them gets
look, he's standing in the background. He's like, do I want to be a part of this conversation? He's like, man, I don't know.
If their child gets to live or die. Wanted to raise the baby. They begged for the life of the baby, and they obviously created the baby together, but only one of them gets to decide if their child gets to live or die.
I would like to say, from more of an honestly feminist perspective, men have responsibility as the other parent of that child. Ironically enough, a lot of the times when pro-choice people put the focus completely on the woman, they strip the man of all his parental rights and responsibilities. And I think that's why actually a lot of men who are pro-choice, because they don't want to have those fatherly responsibilities that they will have once the child is born.
You left us, man. I want to know why.
There's a struggle.
Yeah.
I'm mad conflicted about this, because I strongly feel like a man should not have control over what a woman does with her body.
Agree.
I more so have an issue with when a man doesn't actually want that baby. She wants it and then expects this man to like be the ultimate provider and child care and all this extra stuff, right? But in the case of if the man wanted it, the baby, and the woman didn't want it, he has no say so. I think that's a fucked up dynamic. So that's why I was going back and forth.
Well, you should have stayed then. It sounds like you're for men having more rights.
I just can't force a woman to be like, no, you have to do this, because I think it's fucked up. It's her body.
It is fucked
But it's
up.
also a child's life in there. It's not just her body, it's a child's
And
life.
it's also your son or daughter.
I think
Nah,
truly in my
but it's her
eyes,
body.
It's like it's my body. I
Right.
can do what I want with it, and I don't think anyone, including the other person who's involved, should have a say whether I want to keep it or whether I want to get an abortion.
I do feel like they should get a say, but it doesn't matter what their say is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can give, I think you have, if you don't have to, again, you still don't have to do any of this, but if you want to at least like uphold something, I feel like at least letting the other person know, like, hey, what are your thoughts? And then if you like hear what they have to say and you're like, well, I'm still doing it. I mean, then you can't do anything about it at that point.
My name is Asher, currently reside in Las Vegas, and I'm for pro-abortion. I used to be against abortion until an unwanted pregnancy happened to me. If you know for a fact that you're not even going to be the best parent for that child, or you can't provide for that child, or maybe you're just fearful and don't want to pop a child out of you, or just whatever reason that you have, I feel like you shouldn't have to go through with that. You still have that choice over your life, your body.
I have had an abortion.
You go, girl.
A few months ago, I found out that I was pregnant. When I imagined myself finding out I was pregnant for the first time, I wanted it to be celebrated. And in that moment, I felt such severe anxiety. And having that, like the entire time, I was just in a lot of emotional pain.
I love this dude, bro. He cannot make his mind up on anything. He's like, man, I did have an abortion.
Grieving, I was debating about myself, about how I would be looked at or how I would view myself after getting the procedure done.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm nervous. So I'm gonna be real careful with my words. Clearly, as a man, I can't have an abortion. But my girlfriend, we've had 2 abortions. She didn't really want to have a baby. I didn't really want to have a baby. And I know for me, I don't want to be seen as that deadbeat father person, but I knew I wasn't really trying to sacrifice my own dreams or what I was trying to accomplish to be a dad at that point.
I think that's definitely like one of the biggest things to consider, because I wasn't in any kind of position to be a mother, So it's like, I want to get my shit together before I can have a baby and give it a life that it deserves.
Which I completely agree with that, because so that's what it's crazy about some of the legislation. I'm not saying that right. Legislation. Am I saying that right? It's so close if I'm not. That's what's so dangerous about a lot of the laws that they're trying to pass, is because it's forcing women. Legislation. I think I'm saying it right, but it just in my head. I don't know. This is like the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I'm actually fucking nervous doing this. It's the first time I've ever done this. So I'm actually nervous, which is so funny because legislation. Okay. Because I've been fucking streaming now for years. But anyways, it's dangerous what they're doing, because with the laws that they're trying to pass, it's putting women and men in situations where they will never be able to get out of. If you accidentally get someone pregnant, or you become pregnant and you're in no position to raise the child, then you shouldn't have to. You should be able to make the choice to have that child, because if you do end up having that child because someone else has forced you, it could ruin your life and the other person's life potentially. You may never reach a point past what you're currently living because of that child. And some of the laws that they have passed too, it's just fucking crazy. Like passing laws where you imagine, and I know this is a fucked up situation, but imagine a family member rapes you and then gets you pregnant, and then the state that you're living in tells you that you are not allowed to get an abortion. At that point, you're somewhat forced to go to like an underground chop shop, which I know they're not called. They're called something. It's not a chop shop, but you're kind of, if you end up deciding to do that, you're forced to go to a place to get this abortion, which could leave long lasting effects on your body, and it's extremely unsafe for these women to go through that and do that. So it's crazy.
When I found out I was pregnant, the person that I was with at the time, they were like, I will support you in every way, but I will not be able to be there for you if you decide to keep it. And that definitely influenced my choice. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. I like to think I'm a pretty generous, loving person, and the names that I've been called for even getting one, I've gotten evil, psychotic, demented.
My name is Christine. I'm from Denver, and I am on the anti-abortion side. So when I was 20 years old, I was a college student, and I found myself in an unplanned pregnancy, and I was pressured to abort very heavily, not only by my child's father, but by those around me. And I heard my son's heartbeat, and there was no debate. It was a life. His life was not mine to take. This is part of why I am very pro-life, because I know many women.
I would love to know the time frame of when she heard the heartbeat. Very curious. Because science says one thing, and I'm just very curious to know when she heard this heartbeat.
And are pressured to abort when they don't want to.
Can they disagree or step forward?
Your story is absolutely powerful, and your story as well. I think something we probably all can agree on is abortion usually is a symptom of a bigger problem, whether it's finances, whether it's stability of housing, whether it's relationship issues. My perspective is
rape.
That we address those issues instead of ending the life of a child.
Disagree. I don't think that abortion is a symptom.
No, it's not.
People should be able to access abortion when, how, wherever they want or need. I don't think that it's a problem to be fixed. I think that is still stigmatizing.
How do you fix a problem where you're living in an unsafe household and a person is taking advantage of you? How do you fix that? You can't. You can't fix a systemic problem like that because there's no way of fixing it, you know? How do you fix someone approaching you when you're vulnerable and taking advantage of you? It's like you can say add more, hire more police, put more people on watch, but that doesn't help, It's never helped, and you could see that it hasn't helped.
But I think the biggest thing is that there are birth control methods out there, and abortion should not be a birth control method. I think that's very critical. And to hear that, you weren't celebrated. I think life should be celebrated with everybody.
I'd like to call attention to that point too, just the fact of using abortion as birth control. I thank you for everyone sharing their stories so far. I didn't step forward, I haven't had an abortion myself, but I am a survivor of rape. I was on birth control at the time, and I still made the decision with my medical team that birth control is not 100% effective, and I wanted access to emergency contraceptive to take on top of that. And had that pregnancy or any of those methods failed, I would have chosen to have an abortion, and I'm very grateful that I had access to those resources, and I'm so mindful that there's so many women who don't.
So it kind of blows my mind. That dude over there, I'm so happy she stepped up and said that, because he was like, women have access to birth control. So, why are we getting abortions when women can take birth control? It's like, motherfucker, you want all women, just to be taking birth control? She made a fucking perfect point, because, she just so happened to be on birth control when she was raped. So does that mean that all women need to take the precautionary birth control, so as if they are to get raped, they're like, oh, I had birth control, I'm fine, I'm safe, I had birth control? It doesn't make sense. Bad take from Home Dude, and she had a good one.
Well, I think it gets down to the heart of the issue here. What is the unborn, which scientifically the embryo is from conception.
The beginning of human personhood is the moment when a human is first recognized as a person. There are differences in opinion as to the precise time when human personhood begins and the nature of that status. So let's take a moment and look into this, because I cannot fully remember the exact things, but I don't know if you've heard this. It's a common thing where, the heartbeat, it's, when the heartbeat first happens, that's when, the life is being brought into the child, because, it's basically just mush for a long time until the heartbeat is formed. So because I don't remember the exact. I want to kind of go to the Mayo Clinic. I wonder if they have that. Yeah, because the Mayo Clinic is like fucking one of the most trusted places. Okay, you're pregnant. You undoubtedly spent the months ahead wondering how your baby is growing, developing. What does it look like? How big is she? Fetal development typically follows a predictable course. Find out. Okay, 1 to 2 weeks getting ready. It might seem strange, but thanks for the resub.
Denisato_ just subscribed.
Might be strange, but you're not actually pregnant the first week or two of the time allotted to your pregnancy. Yes, you read that correctly. Conceptually, it typically occurs about 2 weeks after your last period begins. To calculate your estimated due date, your healthcare provider will count ahead 40 weeks from the start last period. That means your period is counted as part of your pregnancy, even though you weren't pregnant at the time. For week 3, the sperm and egg unite in one. Okay, it's soon after week 4. The rapidly divided ball of cells has begun to burrow in the lining. Cells. Okay, week 5, hormone levels. The 5th week of the pregnancy, or the 3rd week after. So this is the 3rd week. They call it the 5th week for some reason, but it's the 3rd week. So 3 weeks in, the levels of HCG hormone produced by the blastoxy quickly increase. This signals your ovaries to stop releasing eggs and produce more estrogen and progestrogen. Increased levels of these hormones stop menstrual periods, often the first sign of pregnancy, and then fuel the growth of the placenta. The embryo is now made of 3 layers. The top layer, the ectoderm, will give rise to your baby's outermost layer of skin. Central and peripheral nervous system, ear, eyes, and inner ears. Your baby's heart and primary circular system is formed. The middle layers of the cells, the mesoderm. This layer of the cells will also serve as the foundation of your baby's bones, ligaments, kidneys. So week 6, growth is rapid this week, just 4 weeks after conception. The neutral tubes. Yeah. Because this is 4 weeks after conception. Like I said, I don't know why they call it week 6, but it's 4 weeks after conception. So it's because apparently they put it back 2 weeks prior for some reason. So yeah. Baby's head, 5 weeks. So 5 weeks, your baby's brain and face are growing. 6 weeks after conception, your baby's lower limbs, lungs, fingers have shaped to form. Small swellings, eyes, ears become obvious. The upper lip, nose have formed. The trunk and neck begin to straighten. By the end of this week, your baby might be around 1/2 inch long and grow to rump. Okay, so think about that. At 6 weeks, your baby is about 1/2 inch. Okay? That's less than the tip of my fucking pinky. Like, I don't know if you can see my fingernail. It's like the size of my fingernail at this point. Yeah. You like that? What about this finger? Like that finger? So yeah, your baby is that. 7 weeks after conception, your baby arms grow, elbows, toes are visible from eyelids form. Your baby's head is large, but still the poorly formed chin. By the end of this week, your baby might be a little less than 3/4 inch. Still less than my fucking pinky. Still less than the tip of my pinky. Less than 3, 4. Okay, so 8 weeks after conception, your baby's head has become more round. Your baby can now bend his or her elbows, toes, and fingers, lose their webbing, and become longer. The eyelids and external ears continue to develop. The umbilical cord is clearly visible. So, the genitals. Okay, so this is it. When, when the genitals are formed, you can't have an abortion anymore. That's what I'm calling it. Okay, and the baby's got a penis, you can't kill it anymore. You're done. Penis, you're done. So that's the crazy part. Okay, so they're trying to say that at this point in development, you should not be able to kill. You should not be able to have an abortion yet. This is 8 weeks, and I still think that is fucking. I think that's crazy. I think that's absolutely crazy. "10 weeks after conception, your baby is sprouting fingernails. Your baby's face is now taking more development. Baby by now is about 2 inches long from the crown. Fuse velvet 10 weeks after conception." So yeah, there you go. When did the heart start to grow? I didn't see that, or did I just read past it? He said usually after 6 weeks. Did I not see it? Week 5, which is week 5. 3 weeks. Oh, okay, yeah. Your baby's heart and primitive circulatory system will form in the middle of the cells. So my whole point of looking this up was a majority of the people try to say that when the heart is formed, that's when you can no longer have an abortion. That is like one of the main talking points of the conservatives. They're trying to say, when the heart is formed, you can't have a baby anymore. You can't have an abortion anymore, which it's fucking ridiculous. Like even at week 3, it's literally still smaller than my pinky. It's fucking it's nothing. So to try to say that you shouldn't be allowed to have an abortion at week 3 of your pregnancy is fucking crazy. And it's even crazy. It's even crazy to have the idea of trying to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body, let alone the size of the fetus at this point. It's still the idea of being like, you cannot do what you want with your body because I don't want you to. It's crazy.
A living whole organism with distinct DNA. As a Christian, I come from
Hold on, whoa.
the heart of the issue.
I would have chosen to have an abortion, and I'm very grateful that I had access to those resources, and I'm so mindful that there's so many women who don't.
Typically the embryo. Well, I think it gets down to the heart of the issue here. What is the unborn? Which scientifically the embryo is from conception. A living whole organism with distinct DNA. As a Christian, I come from a worldview that says that every human being has dignity and worth.
Every human being does have dignity and worth, but you are not a human when you are the size of a fucking peanut. Okay? You are nothing. You are not a human. You are what is in the process of becoming something that deserves dignity and respect. But you are not that yet.
To disrespect any religion in general, but
disrespect it, girl. Throw some heat on them.
In my eyes, that's just pushing a belief onto someone rather than actually stating a real concrete fact.
So,
true.
Scientifically, I'm pro-life because of science, not because of religion. But
she's pro-life because of science. What do you mean? Scientific studies demonstrably say that you are wrong. Because science has shown time after time that women that have access to abortions and freedom of autonomy are happier, live better lives, and have... you're just crazy what you're saying right now.
Scientifically, I believe that life does start at conception. I don't think it makes sense to put life beginning at any other place during.
Why do they keep saying that? Life begins at conception. Scientifically, no, that is not true. That is not true. If you want to get down to the nitty gritty, there are cells, and you can say cells are alive. But to sit there and say life, science says that life starts at conception, you're fucking wrong. And people, I love when people do this. They sit there and they'll say things that are proven to be wrong, but they're like, no. Science says it. Trust me. Don't look it up.
Pregnancy, doing so usually ends up saying that an already born person isn't alive, such as consciousness, heartbeat, etc. There are many pro-life people here from the science perspective who are not led by religious motives at all or partially. I am Ayala. I am 18 years old. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am anti-abortion. One misconception that I deal with pretty frequently is that we're all Christian, white, old men, and as a...
Did anybody notice the fucking, what is that called? The Star of David? She's like, it's a common misconception to think that everybody's Christian, okay? I'm actually a Jew, and I don't like abortions. Jews don't like abortions too, okay? It's not just Christians. Oh, man. What's up? We're talking about, is abortion right? Should women be allowed to have abortions? It's all just abortion related. We're talking about abortions.
A Jewish woman.
She said it. I'm fucking so observant. I knew it. I knew she was gonna say she was Jewish. I fucking knew it. Let's roll it back.
The conception that I deal with pretty frequently is that we're all Christian, white, old men, and as a Jewish woman.
As a Jew, I really hate that because Jews also don't like abortions, okay? My humble opinion. Women should be able to choose to abort until she is close to having the baby. It's on her body. She should be able to choose what happens to her body. But, and there's a big but on this, she must have knowledge about her act, and she must know about the consequence her act will cause to this body. No, completely true. I do think at a certain point, like, women carry babies for 8 months. I don't think... Now, it does get into the ethical region, like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That is when it's like, the baby is like formed at that point. It's kicking. It's... I don't know. It's hard for me to really have an opinion on that because honestly, I'm not well read enough. I don't want to say something because I don't want to... I don't want to put my feelings before the real, I don't want my feelings to dictate my judgment on that because I don't know what the facts are, I know what the facts are from, the first, month or two. For the most part, I'm pretty well versed on knowledge between, the first month or two. But I feel like you should be able to make the choice within the first month or two, Right.
Men, younger. I really want more voices like mine to be seen in the anti-abortion movement because I think we have new perspectives that would help kind of bridge the gap and have us find a little bit of middle ground between our two opposing.
By the way, I never was on a situation like that. I guess neither your what do you mean? As in, have I ever experienced somebody in my life that needed to have an abortion? Is that what you mean? the only real knowledge I know about this is my mother. My mother got pregnant when she was, I think, 12 or 13. And my mother had her first abortion. Her first kid, she aborted at the age of like 12 or 13. And I know that, and this is me as an adult talking about my mother. My mother wasn't a good mother to me. You know, she wasn't a good mother to my brother. And she had my brother when she was 14, I think. And then she had me when she was 17 or 18. Okay, so either she had my brother when she was 14, 15, or 16, and then had me when she was 16, 17, or 18. You know, somewhere, I think it was 17 for me and 14 or 15 for my brother, but I truly can't remember. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I know my mother was not a good mother to me. She was not a good mother to my brother. I want to believe that she's a good mother to my youngest sister, but to think of my mother having a child at the age of 12 is fucking crazy. Now imagine, I think it was spontaneous, 100%. She was young, she was having sex at a very, very young age, and she got pregnant. So to think about my mother having a child at the age of 12 is fucking crazy, isn't it? Like, imagine being that young. And I mean, I know she made a very poor decision, but think of like women that don't make the decision to have sex, young women that get abused and taken advantage of and then getting pregnant. Imagine not being afforded the options of an abortion at that age because it's illegal and it's immoral, and my beliefs don't like that. You know, it's crazy because you would never want that on somebody's shoulders. You would never want someone to have to go through their life like that. But in some places here in America today, there are people that will be like, you have to have that baby. I don't care if you're 12. I don't care if you're 14. You will have that baby. And that is the insane part. Yeah, I agree.
Sides.
Abortion is murder.
Right. I don't know what it's like in other countries. I just know what's happening here. I'm able to talk about what's happening here, but yeah, I don't have. I'm assuming it's similar to what's happening here in other countries, but you know, America is louder because I live in it. You know, I don't. It's not, other countries aren't as loud as America because, of course, I'm subjugated to American propaganda and American news and stuff like that.
Murder.
I think it
Very
is
true.
murder. I think for the abortionist more so.
So, I don't know if you heard that. Abortion is murder, okay? With that pretense, Texas, here in America, they are trying to pass a law that will give women the death penalty if they get an abortion. Basically, a life for a life. Because in the fucking twisted brains of Texas governors, they think that having an abortion is the same as murder. And they want to try women for the death penalty because of it. And that is fucking crazy. That is crazy. We just passed a bill here that if you know somebody that had an abortion, and this is, I think, again in Texas, if you know somebody that had an abortion, or if you know of someone who helped that person have an abortion, you can turn them in for a cash prize. They will give you money if you turn in somebody that you know had an abortion. It's fucking crazy, man. They're giving out bounties, dude. It's like Dog the Bounty Hunter sniffing out fucking abortions, dude, for cash prizes. It's insane.
Than the woman. I think a lot of women don't necessarily know exactly how an abortion procedure is formed. I've had a girl even tell me that at 20 weeks a baby is just a clump of cells, and that's just not true.
I do believe now there might be cases where some women might be unaware of what's going on in an abortion. But by and large, I think, especially with the advent of the internet and so much education out there, many of them do know that that there's a life inside of them, and they want to end that life, whether they call it murder or not.
Hard disagree. Absolutely disagree.
Okay.
I've definitely met a lot of teenage girls who grew up in our generation who believe that abortion is normal, a fetus is a clump of cells, and there is no human life in the womb. They don't tell you when you go in for an abortion consultation, this is a child and this is a human life, and that's what's going to be happening. I have a hard time believing that if...
As of right now, they jailed him. But the person who turns them in, they are currently trying... Again, in Texas, they are trying to give them the death penalty. So if they find the person, this is not passed yet, but it's literally being voted on, that if the person has an abortion, they will get the death penalty. And again, it's being voted on. It's not in process yet, but it's something that they have put into motion, which is fucking crazy in itself. Like, that is crazy. They will currently they're going to just try you for murder. No, this is in Texas because it is legal on the federal level. It's legal across the board to have an abortion, but individual states are passing laws to counter Roe v. Wade to make abortions illegal. Just nuke Texas. I know, bro. Texas is crazy. Right. No, totally. Yeah, totally. It's fucking crazy, man. If you had any sort of like proof, you could probably do that to somebody.
Most women knew they were killing a child, they would do that. I don't think women in America are that malevolent. I think it's very irresponsible and very hurtful to say, oh, this woman's a murderer because she had an abortion.
You literally went and sat down when they said abortion is murder, and you just sat there and was like, why are you sitting down if you don't think abortion is murder? Well, you're sitting down with people who are saying abortion is murder. That's fucking crazy. If you live in Texas, but if you do an abortion in other states like Florida, what is their option? No, death penalty is not on the board in any state, and it's even legal in most states to have an abortion. It's individual states are trying to push state legislation. Why can I not say that? Legislation. Individual states are trying to pass legislation to make it illegal on criminal charges. And they're trying to do it by undermining the federal case of Roe v. Wade. I know. I don't know why I'm having a problem saying that word. My aunt had 4 miscarriages. Mad someone reporting her to the abortion. Hey, all I'm saying is just get a cut. Just be like, just get a cut of that. I know that's a bad joke, but I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing.
The people who worked there were very understanding. They let me know there is a child that could come out of you in 9 months. Are you sure you want to do this? And I knew there was a child in my body. I knew I could have a child in 9 months, and I knew that that child can grow old and be their own person. But I made that choice because I am allowed to have that choice, and especially you. You are a white man, and you are not allowed to say what I can do with my body, nor any of these other women who are able to carry a child.
I think that's so dangerous. I think that's so dangerous to say that you can't say because of your sexuality, who you are as a male or female, or how you believe as a religion, you can't define what's right and wrong.
As a white man, you are privileged, and you think that you have the right to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. And that is what we've seen in Congress. That's what we've seen in state legislation. That is what we've seen across the board, is white privileged men forcing their ideology onto women, telling them what they can and cannot do with their body. That is what is dangerous. Not women being able to think. See, in this guy's head, he thinks that women having the choice of making their own decisions is dangerous. That is what is dangerous to this man. And that is what a lot of people think is dangerous. Women being able to make their own decisions. That is dangerous. That's fucking insane. It's not it. In his head, it's irresponsible for him not to tell her that she cannot do what she wants to do with her own body. In his head, he thinks that is dangerous. This woman thanking for herself. Crazy.
I think that's misguided.
You can
and we
have your
shouldn't take
own
that into
opinion.
policy.
I think what she's
If it's a
saying is
child,
that
you should have
whatever
that right.
your morality is, I think that, you know, folks are entitled, that we have freedom of religion, we have freedom from religion. Whatever your moral value is, the issue is
He's so
trying to
worked
turn
up
that
right
into
now.
legislation and putting
The
it on
legislature.
You could see his fucking lips curling. He's like, oh, these women think they can make decisions by themselves. Oh man.
We legislate what's right and wrong all the time.
Thinking even medically, you know, like for Indigenous women, they're 2 times as likely to die from pregnancy-related complications. Who's responsible for that murder if she's forced to carry that baby?
Well, I would be all for working on legislation altogether where, you know, if the woman's been taken advantage of, or if they've incest situations, or if her life's at risk, we can keep those options on the table.
So all of a sudden, because she could potentially die, we'll make legislation where she can abort that baby, and all of a sudden you're pro-abortion?
No, I'm not pro-abortion. I personally would not like her to choose that option.
What's up, dude?
Hey, dude.
What are you doing? You wanna watch the rest of this video with me? We're talking about abortions.
That shit actually sounds cool to me.
I'm gonna share my screen on Discord. You can chime in if you want.
I think science
So
is
you
coming.
prefer
No, no, no.
You have to make their own decisions next to where they want to. I know! We can't have women driving. Imagine if women start to drive. We can't have that. Men who think women are less are just fucked in the head. I know, and that's like majority of the men that live in our society. You thought it was your Discord? That's funny. So we're about halfway in on this video, Tyler. We are discussing if abortion is murder. Is abortion right? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Right?
Do you think women have the right to have an abortion?
Do they have the right just in general?
Yes, as a woman.
Yes, I do think that they have the right.
Okay. Do you think a man should be able to tell that woman if she can and cannot have an abortion?
No, I do not.
Okay. Seems like we got a pro gamer over here. He seems like he's on the ball. All right.
No.
Right?
I think science has come a long way where that's vastly not the case anymore within our medical community, and we need to continue to increase funding.
Do you think abortion is murder within the first 2 months?
Wait, say that again?
Do you think abortion is murder within the first 2 months?
No.
What about after that? 4 months.
Damn, 4 months is kind of deep. How long is the fucking...
Here,
How long is the incubation period?
I'll give you another question. When does the fetus become a person?
It's a harder one. Hey, babe.
Oh no.
Hey, when do you think the fetus
A human.
becomes a person?
A human. Let's say human. A human
When do you
being.
think a human fetus becomes a real person?
No, when you think a fetus becomes a human, that's
When she said when it can have thoughts and opinions.
okay. So she agrees. Abortion is not murder ever. An abortion, you cannot murder a fetus in any fashion because it is not a human being, it is a fetus. It doesn't matter if it has a heartbeat, it doesn't matter if it has working limbs or any of that. The fetus is not a human until it is born. Mm-hmm. Which you are being mapped out to become a human, which you will start appearing to look like you are human, but in the end, yes, you are cells being formed. Yep. Doesn't matter doesn't matter what stage the chicken is in at any manner, it will always be an egg, and while it's inside of the egg.
I don't even think you gain consciousness until at least 5 or 6.
Yeah. You know that meme I showed you when your 3-year-old's in gain consciousness, you're like, what? What is this? I'm alive?
For those mechanisms to provide more research on how to keep the woman alive in this situation.
What is the end goal here that abortion be illegal and it be criminalized and removed as a resource forever from this country? Is that the
Illegal and unthinkable.
illegal and unthinkable? So it is culturally
For women, we want women to have resources, first of all, to where they don't need an abortion, and then abortion for the abortionist is criminalized. So an abortionist could go to jail for performing it. Women should not be criminalized because at the end of the day, women are victims of.
So in her head, she wants to live in a perfect utopia. She's like, my end goal is to basically stop all rape. My end goal is to, stop all incest amongst family members. It is my goal to make women just not have sex, actually. That is my end goal. I just don't think women should have sex ever, because that way women can never want to have an abortion, because that is my goal. If women stop having sex, they won't need abortions. It's great. It's a great idea.
Wait, it actually works like that? I thought.
Right.
My name is Sebastian King, and I am anti.
It's like the idea of when crime happens, they like, oh, we need to, give the police more money. More crime, more murders are happening, so we need to give police more money so they can stop the murders. When has that ever fucking worked?
Just completely, like, no matter the situation.
Yeah.
Said abortion's wrong.
Basically. She was like, because she said, what is the end goal? To make abortion illegal across the board and criminalized? She said, yes, our end goal is to make it immoral and off the table, basically, like not even an option. That is our goal. And it's like, well, and then that one girl chimed in and said, it is our goal to make it not even like a thing to be able to be raped, basically. We want to make our society in a way where being in a position of having a child you don't want isn't a reality. And it's like, bitch, we do not live in fucking heaven. Like, what utopia, euphoric plane? Yeah, what euphoric plane are you living on where that? Yeah, it's fucking insane to me.
Abortion side. My mom had an unplanned pregnancy because she was taken advantage of from the time she was 12 to 15, and she was in and out of state custody, and a judge even encouraged.
This dude is anti-abortion. He just straight up was like, my mom was getting raped from 12 to 15 and she had an abortion. But you know what? That's not right. Like, what is fucking wrong in this dude's head that makes him think that that's not right? Hey, yeah, my mom was getting raped and she had an abortion when she was 13. That was fucked up, wasn't it? Like, what? What are you saying?
Encouraged her to have an abortion and told my mom that she won't amount to anything in life if she goes through with this pregnancy. Because she chose life. That's the only reason I'm here today, and that's my mission, is to ensure that all life. She
didn't have an abortion, and he is the unborn. He is the non-aborted fetus. Well, I hate to say it, boys. He should have been one of them. He should have been one of them to go. Come on now. Sorry, I judged him too early. He should have been the one to go.
I actually know my dad, and he's not that bad of a guy.
It's a joke. Yes, it's a joke. We are joking here. Or are we? Yeah, my dad, he was a swell dude. I actually,
He's cooler than what you guys think, to be honest.
he might have did all that crazy stuff to my mom, but, you know, he was a good guy.
That's honestly
Abortion
mind-blowing
should be
that that's him
accessible
sitting there.
and incest survivors.
Wait, what was that?
To rape,
All life is protected.
abortion should be accessible to rape and incest survivors.
All of those people right there that are standing there right now, they are fucked in their head. Completely fucked in their head. I'm gay. When I was 17, I was raped by an adult woman. It's in society. It's not just the ladies that are... No, 100%. I actually seen one of those... this isn't a rape scenario, but it was a video where a guy was talking about being abused by his female partner. And, like, it was one of those, like, TV reality shows, you know. But, like, the people in the crowd started laughing at the fucking guy, you know. Basically, she was like, haha, you know, funny. And the host of the show had been like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? It was like, this guy's up here saying that, you know, he's been abused by his partner and you guys are laughing at him. It's like, if this was a woman up here, it wouldn't be funny, you know? And unfortunately in our society, for some reason, you know, I think we've come a long way with understanding that women do take advantage of men, but it's not there yet. You know, we are getting close to getting there, but we're not there yet, you know. It's also one of those things where it's like children, because I'm sure you guys heard this joke. It's like women teachers having sexual relationships with their students, which is completely fucking wrong. But most people are like, hey, you know, that boy wanted it. You know, oh, that boy, he fucking, all that shit is like, no, dude, like, that's fucked. Like, you could say that exact same thing and put a man and a young woman in that same scenario, and it's like, that's fucked up, but a woman sleeping with a man isn't? Well, a woman sleeping with a child isn't. It's like, that's the society we live in currently. And again, I think there is a lot of progressive people changing their mindset on that, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer to get that, you know.
If you're pregnant from your brother or your cousin or your father, especially if it wasn't consensual, or even if
I'm
it
going to
was,
finish
you
this
still
video.
have that option to abort the baby, and especially if you've been raped, there are some people who have that thought like, oh my God, like, what if when I look at my child, I relive that trauma?
That's a reminder.
And not saying that's how all rape victims view it, but it's just like some women have that fear.
Okay, so.
I cannot wait to hear what this fucking... Oh my God, I cannot wait to hear what these women are about to say. She's going to try to sit here and justify keeping a baby from someone that has raped you. I cannot wait to hear this take. You see how fucking cocky she just sat down? She's like, okay, so... Oh my God.
Some women have that fear.
Okay, so I was raped for 4 years of my life, violently, more times than I can count. And I did get pregnant when I was 15. My rapist threatened me with abortion multiple times. Used that as a tool to keep me in his power. If he had the power to terminate evidence, he had power against me. I did end up losing her, but I wanted her very badly. I named her Rahel, which is Rachel in English. And I think it's very important to humanize people who are conceived in rape because they're walking around right now.
Wow. I guess I don't even have anything to say about that. That is just unthinkable in my mind, to be raped and to be violated by somebody and then to get pregnant with their kid and not wanting to have an abortion. Like, that is unthinkable in my head.
I was just thinking that, bro. Like, that would be, like, there's no way that that would not be what I would do.
But not only that, thinking it's wrong to have an abortion on top of that. Like, it's one thing to be like, I want to have this kid, but the underlining tone of it being like, if I abort this kid, it's wrong. Like, that is... What I was saying earlier, it's crazy to see women being anti-abortion, you know, because maybe they're not knowingly doing it, but they're taking away their own rights for, like, women across the world. They're attempting to take away rights of women, which, you know, I've been fighting for women's rights for as long as I've, you know, had I didn't have a troglodyte brain, which I still do, but, and to see, like, women, like, trying to take their own rights away, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want to do that as a woman? What's up, dude? Drew. What's up, boy? Imagine the trauma. I guess she wants to keep the baby because she was thinking rape would end if she... I don't know. I don't want to put thoughts into her head like that. Who knows? I cannot get in the head of this person because it just doesn't make sense. Maybe.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, and I think it's very insulting to place that on a human being. I think that humans, no matter how they are conceived, are human beings, and they deserve to be respected, and their lives deserve to be respected.
And I agree because that's me. I agree 100%.
I agree too.
And my mom,
but you are not a human being once you're conceived. You're a human once you are born. So I think all humans do have the right to be respected and to be validated and to be treated with as equally as every other human being, but you are not a human at conception. You become a human at birth. So
has always told me she doesn't view me as even on my birth certificate, he's not my father. So
also, I want to tap on what you said though, because you said you really wanted to keep your daughter, and although you don't, see it as the rape baby and stuff, other people who also go through that traumatic experience may actually see it like that, right? You wanted that, but there's other people that had their a choice taken away from them. They shouldn't be shamed at going through this and even having to live through that experience of the rape baby.
Here's the thing. When you get an abortion as a reaction to rape, you're continuing the cycle of violence.
What are you?
So you were raped. That was a violent
I am.
attack on you that
Yeah,
wasn't
where
your
I'm
fault.
doing.
You're hurt.
I'm doing a "Is abortion murder? Is abortion ethical? Is it abortion right?" video.
You're getting into the hard-hitting topic.
Yeah, I'm going ham on it, bro. It's been a pretty good video so far. I think I'm having a good time. You guys enjoying this? I don't know. I've never done anything as controversial as a topic like this before, so I think I'm having fun.
What do you, Jake? I was gonna say, what do you, Jake?
Hey, I would love to see a gay pastor on Grindr just hit him up and be like, "Hey, dude, I am a young child, and I want to be taught the law of God. Can you help me out?" He'd be like, "Oh my God, I will teach you the law of God so hard."
Victimized. Why is it fair to further victimize someone else because you are hurt?
But
You're
seeing it as a someone though, man. I'm putting myself in a woman's shoes or a human being's shoes, right? You take my choice away. You
so
rape
is that what
me.
you're trying to do? Are you trying to play
for all you know,
I'm gonna finish this video. I got 10 minutes left or something.
You're gonna play too?
I will, but I got like 10 minutes left in this video.
I might be sleeping on the dumpster behind McDonald's.
Yeah, if you guys would hop out.
Right?
And I'll join.
I
Yeah.
get shamed because I don't want to bring this.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Oh, but you should give birth.
Yep.
Move me out of this. No, I'm just.
Yeah, fuck you. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to rewind that.
And then put in foster care if you don't want it, bro.
because you are hurt.
But
Why?
they shouldn't be shamed at going through this and even having to live through that experience of the rape baby.
Here's the thing. When you get an abortion as a reaction to rape, you are continuing the cycle of violence. So you were raped. That was.
What are you fucking on. This girl is crazy. This girl is crazy.
A violent experience happened to you that wasn't your fault. You're hurt. You've been victimized. Why is it fair to further victimize someone else because you are hurt?
But
You're
seeing it as a someone, though, man. I'm putting myself in a woman's shoes or a human being's shoes, right? You take my choice away. You rape me, and for all you know, I might be a struggling human being, right? Making $8 an hour or something like that. Crazy bills. I might be living in my car. I might be sleeping in the dumpster behind McDonald's. But now, because of your opinion, right, and my traumatic experience, I get shamed because I don't want to bring this life into the world, bro. Oh, but you should give birth and then put it in foster care if you don't want it, bro.
I want to touch on that too, just for a second. Like for trauma, I think absolutely what I am passionate about is giving people the choice. And for you,
I will say, this girl's vibe is so chill. She's almost like she smoked a blunt before she came in here. She's like, bro, let's just be cool. Abortion's cool. Like, I'm for abortions. It's cool. I just like being a child made that way. It would feel horrible, but I don't feel like if you was to carry that child to term, I don't think that the child should ever have to bear the weight of his father's sins. You know, like, I think knowing that would be fucked up, and to be like, wow, I don't know should you ever tell your child if you did that? If that happened to you, I should say. I don't think I would ever, of course, I'm not a woman. I mean, I can't speak for what a woman would do to her child, and I'm not going to rape anybody, so I don't even want to, like, act like, but I don't know if I would even ever tell the child if I was to bring it to term, and, like, I don't think I would, you know? It's because I wouldn't want them to live with that, you know? Right. And they talk about foster care like it's a positive thing, no kids. Oh, completely, yeah. And some kids never get out of foster care. And that in itself is a vicious, violent cycle. You know, she's going to be over there talking about continuing the cycle of violence. Kids that get put into foster care are sometimes beaten, you know, not well fed, not well taken care of, adopted by people that use them as pawns, you know. Like, if we want to talk about violence, like, foster care is not a place for children. I know it's like it's made for children, but it's not a good place. That's like homeless people, you know. Homeless people get put into shelters, and you know, a lot of people are like, why don't homeless people just go to shelters? It's because even like homeless shelters aren't fucking good. You know, people in homeless shelters, you know, again, they're not taken care of. They're beaten. They could even be raped inside of the homeless shelters. They don't let you keep personal possessions. You know, it's crazy the situations that you get put through in these like foster homes. It's insane. And to bring a baby to term just to like give it away, and I understand like if it's gone too far and you can no longer have an abortion for X or Y reasons, you know, but like intentionally bringing a baby to term when you have the ability to have it aborted just to give it away for adoption is crazy, you know. My partner and I looked on the street. My partner and I looked at foster to the top, but it's so expensive. It's so difficult. Really? I had no idea it was that expensive. Wow. Right. Right. No, it's not. Life is not fair. Not at all.
You thought a lot about your choice and you wanted that pregnancy, and I'm really sorry that you lost that child. And I also thought a lot about, for myself, when I went through that experience, what choice would be best for me. And for me, that was not carrying the child. And I think trauma is such an interesting thing. For me, not having control over a child growing inside of me and changing my fate of my life, you know, that would be more traumatic than the initial experience. We don't know how people are going to react, but I do fight and would want them to have the choice to do what's best for them.
Oh, yeah. I like her. I like her vibe,
I think
bro.
a strange misconception that people have about people who are pro-abortion is that we don't have respect for
What?
life, or we don't care.
$10,000, bro? Are you buying kids from Malibu? Like, what? Is it really that expensive? That is insane. I've never once looked up the adoption rates. That is crazy.
Care about children. That's absolutely not true. I respect life very much. Unfortunately, I've also seen a lot of negative aspects of our systems in the US,
Wow.
like the foster care system. It's out of that respect that I believe people should have the right to choose an abortion.
America offers resources to help you raise a child.
I think America does, but let's hear what they say. I want to hear what they say about this.
There's tax benefits to having children. I think there was also, in the latest round of COVID money, there was funding for women who've had children.
Yeah, and there are so many Christian charities and so many different organizations that want to help women, and the resources are there.
Also, government resources. There are government resources that help you take care of children. Are there enough? That is a different question.
I was basically just agreeing with what you said because Section 8.
The United States is the only OECD country without nationwide statutory paid maternity leave, paternity leave, or parental leave. Some states offer paid parental leave insurance programs for... So, okay, I'm not 100% well read on this, but every other country in the world offers maternity leave and paternity leave, which is where the mother and the father both have paid time off where they can spend weeks with their newborn child. Here in America, it's laughed at. It's a joke. And it's crazy because it's the people that are working for the corporate industrial complex that are the ones laughing at it. These people are literally slaves to capital owners, and they're the ones laughing at the idea of taking paid time off to be with your kid. For instance, there was I think a football player that just had a kid, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to take paternity leave so I could be with my kid. And literally the whole world was laughing at him. He's like, what, are you a fucking girl? Like, are you a fucking woman? Like, why are you staying home with your kid? It's like, you're not a female. Like, you're a fucking joke. And it's like, we're the only fucking country that doesn't provide that for mothers and fathers. It's crazy. We get like 10%, or the mother. It's not even like afforded to the father in most cases. The mother only gets to spend like 2 weeks with their child, paid in most cases. And I know that, and I'm talking about the bare minimum, and I know you can get a job in a nice place that gives you the benefits of that. And there's also certain jobs that give you the benefits as a father to take paternity leave. But if you don't have those benefits afforded to you by the job you're working at, you're not afforded those benefits. So being at any job as a woman and having a child, you only get to spend like the first 2 weeks with your child before the job is like, okay, are you coming back? Because if you're not coming back, you're going to get fired. We look down on women who have children here in America. If you are a woman working in a job that doesn't give you, maternity? Yeah, because maternity is, I think, or is paternity male? What, maternity or paternity? I forget which one's male and female. But if you are a woman and you, tell your boss, like, hey, I'm pregnant, they can fire you. They can look at you like you're fucking... they look down on you in a sense, that's like you are taking a unproductive path in your life. You have chosen to have a child, so you are unproductive in the fucking imperialistic capital that we are working in. It's fucking insane, man. It is insane. Yeah, it was 3 months here and 6 months for mothers and fathers, I guess just a week. Private adoptions, Canada, where I live, can cost 15 to 25K. The only real options is to foster, to adopt. Foster to adopt, it's like a faction. My mother actually did foster care for quite a while. If you're a single father, you can get like 6 months, but only if you're a single father. Wow. Also, mothers has a job stability for 3 months after she is back to work. Here in Brazil, we can't fire pregnant. We can. We literally can, and we have. And it's crazy. We look at women like they are fucking production workers, and getting pregnant is you being an unproductive worker. It's fucking insane, man. Yeah, that wouldn't fly here. If a company fired a woman who was pregnant here, they wouldn't be a company. Right. No, you could totally do that here. Because here in America, it's all about capital, baby. It's all about the capitalistic and industrial complex, man. If you're not pumping the money up, if you're not bringing the numbers up, you're nothing to us, you know.
Food stamps, free health care, school programs and whatnot. Like, there are resources. Are there enough?
That's how my mom survived when she had me, because of government assistance. So that's the only way she made it, because of that.
I have been a pregnant teenager, and I've also been a teenage mother on welfare and unemployed. The number of resources that are available state to state is something that is atrocious. But what it comes down to is a lot of time and energy. The choice between, do I go to work and get the money to pay rent, or do I
Did you
go
go,
and I sit in
Kumi?
the
I didn't
office,
even
or
notice
do I go
it.
to this nonprofit who's requiring me to fill out this application and come to a meeting in the daytime when I'm supposed to be working?
So you see it kind of like a job, like you're clocking in to fill in paperwork and you're receiving your check.
It is. Low resources and creating these sort of impossible hurdles and more barriers for people who are already experienced them to overcome to get the help is not a help at all.
And I feel like a completely separate conversation is, it is extremely hard to be a single mother who is also a woman or person of color and to get resources, especially Black women.
Dude, the way that dude was just looking at her.
And I feel like a completely separate conversation is, it is extremely hard to be
Hold on.
a single mother who is also a woman or person of color. And
He's like, I'm about to assert my white privilege all over you. Please keep talking. He looks like he is about to fucking kill her.
resources, especially Black women, they are notoriously, even in that.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women. Multiple factors contribute to these disparities, such as variation in quality healthcare, underlying chronic conditions, what is that word? Traditional racism? What is that word? Structural? I have never seen that word before. Structural racism. I don't know. And implicit bias. I've never seen that word before. I have no idea what that is. I would say systemic racism, but I don't know what that. I think it's a type. It might be a typo, because I would say systemic racism. I wouldn't say whatever that word is.
That room where they're giving birth, they aren't taken seriously.
Well, I just want to say one thing, because I think it's important. So I might not look it, but I'm Native American, have my Cherokee card and everything. We have universal.
He did not just pull out his POC card. Bro did not just say that, dude. Bro, shut your mouth. Oh my God. He's like, actually, I am a person of color, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Oh no, bro. Shut your mouth, dude. Oh man. Structural. Is that structural racism? See, I think there was missing the T. I mean the S. Yeah, it was missing the S. That's why I didn't know what the fuck that word was. Because it said truck drill, and I was like, what the hell is truck drill? What? Structure, that makes sense. I'm surprised I couldn't figure that out.
Universal health care in the Indian community. And when she went to have me as a child, they told her in that universal health care system that she's not allowed to have pain medicine because that's a luxury. So she got it through government assistance. So that's a big deal that the United States is more for than the Native American community.
I'm glad we're discussing.
No, I'm not saying that's acceptable. I'm not saying that's acceptable, but I'm saying like
It exists.
it exists. That story exists.
But there are literal reservations out there that do not have water, do not have electricity, do not have internet. That is in 2021. Are those not resources to raise a child?
So let's
Why
address
is the
that
government
instead of killing the baby.
To say that
That's
the
right.
government, the
Let's
question
address
was,
that.
does
That's
the
what I'm
government
saying.
provide resources? No. Does America provide resources? No. That's unacceptable.
Abortions will continue to happen regardless of the law.
Wow, something we can agree on.
That ain't never gonna change.
I think, of course, they'll continue to happen. A law doesn't mean that something is not going to happen at all anymore, just like rape, just like murder,
Yeah.
just like anything else we've.
It's like, they said abortions are going to continue regardless of the law. And she over here is advocating is like, well, I feel like we should just make it where people don't have to get abortions. It's like, what are you talking about? In your head, you think that you can make the world in a way where women will no longer need to get abortions, but on the other hand, you agree to this? It's like, that doesn't make sense.
Outlawed. Just because they're still going to happen doesn't make it right.
But if you criminalize doctors and abortion providers, right, that means we no longer have providers. That means abortion is no longer an option. And that by default, the way that this country, and especially my state, legislates will mean, and it has happened, we have precedent, a woman who tries to self-induce or who tries other non-medical methods to have an abortion can and has been criminalized.
So that's what I said at the beginning of this. Like, when states don't offer abortions, I said this at the beginning, women will seek out ways to get abortions, because if a woman really desperately wants to get that abortion, she's going to get it, which could cause long-lasting effects on her body, rather than the state just affording her the abortion in a safe way. The woman can go and get an abortion if she has to, and it could cause demonstrous effects on her body the rest of her life,
What is the policy that doesn't just absolutely take away the right that people have to access an abortion, regardless of what their beliefs are?
If that child is a human being deserving of the right to life, then yes, it should be criminalized, just like murder of 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds, and adults is criminalized, right?
But that's so different, though. You have people that's 2 years old, already out the womb. They've been here for years, right? And then you got these cells.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
When does it stop being a clump of cells?
Personally,
when it is born. It will always, we are still to this day clumps of cells, but we are human beings at this point. It will forever be clumps of cells, but it is not a human being yet.
I'm not worried about the clump of cells.
Decades of medical research has not been able to land on that answer.
And I'm trying to answer your question. As far as
Do
the
you
cells,
believe that abortion should be allowed all 9 months of pregnancy?
I do feel that's a bit more extreme. So I will agree on that aspect.
But why is it more extreme?
Wait, but let's not act like women are just deciding to get abortions at during their 2nd or 3rd trimester. And the woman who...
In 2019, women in their 20s accounted for the majority of abortions, 56%. The majority of abortions in 2019 took place early in gestation. 92% of abortions were performed at least less than 13 weeks into gestation. A smaller number of abortions, 6.2, were performed at 14 to 20 weeks gestation, and fewer than 1% were performed at 21 weeks and up. Which makes sense, yeah. And I agree with all that. And I said that earlier too. Like, you're not gonna carry a baby for 8 months and then of course it could happen, but 8 months in, you're like, oh, guess what? I don't want to have this baby anymore. I want to abort it. It just doesn't. It happens, but less than 1%.
Are doing it. It's either that they're going to die giving birth, or it's under some medical circumstances, because I doubt, even myself, I doubt that I would get to a 6-month, 7-month mark and then decide, oh, actually, I don't want to make this commitment. I feel like there's a lot of this conversation, like, when does it become wrong?
So
as if we're actually going to get an abortion at that time.
A lot of the, what pro-life people would consider hostile pro-choice comments and things like that.
I feel like she has the craziest takes here. She is by far the most loose cannon that is on the stand. Her, and then followed by the male.
That are a response to hostile pro-life people. And I think that doesn't get talked about on our side because we don't like to fight each other. But I think it's an important point because I've seen absolutely disgraceful comments made towards women who are going into clinics, who are obviously in a very traumatizing situation, and you don't know what that woman is going through, and they're shouting obscenities at her. And that's appalling. And I think that we need to take responsibility as pro-life people to understand they've experienced so much hurt from our side of the community.
And I agree with that, I think. But from our side of the aisle, folks are very passionate because they believe that's a life. They believe that's a baby, and they want to...
He's like, I agree with that, but hold on, I actually don't. So let me tell you why.
everything they can to save that child. But I agree that our rhetoric needs to be there as a resource and another option. And we can do that peacefully and respectfully as well.
I think on any side of any controversial issue, you're always going to have those extremists. Same thing on the pro-abortion side. People are always going to have feelings and people are always going to fight on that level, right? But I think it's about coming up here and saying, like, what actually makes common sense? And how do we come up with policy that doesn't force folks to live by other people's values?
So, closing thoughts. Another Texas GOP lawmaker is attempting to make abortion punishable by the death penalty. Sign up for the brief. A Texas lawmaker has filed a bill that would abolish and criminalize abortions, leaving women and physicians who perform and procure to face criminal charges that would carry the death penalty. The legislation filed Tuesday by State Representative Brian Slayton. What do you think? Old white guy or middle-aged white guy? It's definitely a white guy. It has to be. Oh, look at him. Look at this fucking goon, bro. Fuck you. You fucking degenerate, bro. Republicans love him though. He's doing what the Republicans want. You know it. Okay, so the legislation filed Tuesday by State Rep Brian Slayton does not include exceptions for rape or incest. Does not include exceptions. So you don't need me to explain it again. It does exempt ectopic pregnancies that seriously threaten the life of the woman when a reasonable alternative to save the lives of both the mother and the unborn child is unavailable. This is him. It is time for Texas to protect the natural life for the tiniest and most innocent Texans. And this bill does just that, Slayton said. It's time Republicans make it clear that we actually think abortion is murder. Unborn children are dying at a faster rate in Texas than COVID patients. But Texans isn't taking the abortion crisis seriously. Really. Wow, that's crazy. 87,000 people have died in Texas of COVID. Looks like they only have statistics from October 2021. There were 2,000 abortions performed in September, 1 month after. So there were 2,000. Well, maybe he's right. Who knows? Number of abortions in Texas fell by nearly 50% after the state. The reports there were 2,000 abortion referrals in September, the month after. So if there was 2,000 in September, so let's say is the high number, right? So 2-4. Wait, is that a single state or is that the whole state? So 24. Let's say there's 24,000, and we're giving them the high there. Okay. That is a 49% drop from the abortion, 4,000 abortions from September 2020. So 4,000 abortions. Let's give them 4,000 abortions. So 12, 24, 36, 48. That's 48,000 abortions. Okay. 87,000 deaths from COVID. And I gave them the high number. So no, this motherfucker does not care about COVID deaths. He does not care. You know what he does care about? Women having right over their body. That's what he cares about. I think that was all together. Wasn't it? Is that not 80,000 for... I'm pretty sure that's total. Yeah, that's total. Yeah. Because it's like 10,000 here, 6,000 there. I'm pretty sure that's total, right? I would believe that's total. Yeah, they're getting about 300, 100. So let's say somewhere around like the 200 a day, maybe something like that. Maybe like 100 a day, because some of these are like pretty low. No, they never did. Texas never cared about COVID. That's the funny part. That's why I looked it up. Because that is just such a funny fucking thing for him to say. Like, now all of a sudden you care about COVID? Like, homie, you haven't cared about COVID this whole time. When the fuck did you start caring about COVID? You started caring about COVID when women started wanting to have fucking autonomy over their own body. That's when you started caring. So... Are they against condoms in Texas as well? Because probs increase the death rate too. Yeah, no, you're right. I think that is right. He might be. For those abortions on 7/22, check how many COVID deaths on September. What did you say? 2020. $132 September. I don't know if I can do month by month. Because it's like August, you got 100, 40, 100. It's like 100 every single day in September. Because you got like 200 here and like 70 there. So it's like 150 to 100 every single day in 2020. So 150 times 30, what is that? Anybody know? 150 times 30, that is 3, 5, 10, 15, 35,000? 45,000. Heyo! Okay, anyways, what a tangent. Yeah, Yeah. Similar measures have in the past been filed by State Rep Tony who received death threats and was placed under the protection of the Texas Department of Public Safety after he introduced the bill in 2017. The legislation did not receive a hearing. In 2019, a related bill from Tenderbolt drew nearly 8 hours of public testimony. State Rep Jeff Leach R. Polano faced security concerns that year after he said the bill would not move out of the committee he chaired for a vote of the full House. My God, I'm sorry, I couldn't read that. That year after he said the bill would not move out of the committee he chaired for a vote of the full House. The bill died in the committee. Under the bill filed Tuesday, women who received abortions and physicians who performed the procedure could be charged with assault or homicide, which is punishable by death in Texas, confirmed Shannon Emmons, a staff attorney with the Texas District and County Attorneys Association. The association does not have a position on the bill. The bill would require people to give evidence or testify about offenses involving the death or the bodily injury to an unborn child and would offer immunity to those who do. That is fucking crazy, man. That is crazy. Imagine murking doctors. Like, imagine a doctor getting fucking murked on death row because he helped out a woman in need. That. But you know what? I don't know what I'm thinking here. You know what's dangerous? Women having a mind of their own. Let's not forget what the real danger is. Because the moment we forget that, who knows, women might start making their own decisions. We can't have that. Me, as a elderly white man, should be the only person allowed to make the decisions for women. And that is all. That is true.